welcome everyone to the Feudal Age Best Knight tier list. Yes, we can talk about it as like a tier list, but here we are talking about Knight versus Knight, aka heavy cavalries in the Feudal Age. Which heavy cavalry is the best in the Feudal Age? I'm gonna make it for Castle and Imperial as well. Well, those gonna take a long because we have a lot of heavy cavalry in the Castle Age and the Imperial Age. The unique units are kicking in as well. But let's see so far what do we have. So let's see the civilization. French and JD, both of them has Royal Knight. Rus has Early Knight. Mongol has Kashik. Malian has Sofa. Well, we can say Japanese has the Uma Bannerman. House of Lancaster has the Demon Lancer. Knights Templar has the Chevalier Confer, and also we have another Kashik with the Byzantines. The rest of the civilization doesn't have heavy cavalry, heavy unit, knight or lancer type of unit that we can test it out. So let's see what do we have. We are considering everything. We are considering the charge damage, the attack rate, and melee damage. But of course, while we are making this tier list, it's just attack move. So the left side and the right side will meet in the middle and they are just doing attack move, nothing else. So this tier list, it's not like, oh yeah, this unit is the best in maneuvering, it can run under the enemy TC or etc etc. This is such a good idea in my head to make a video like this because you will understand the interaction between knight versus knight if they are doing most of the time attack move and not like a retreating and charging in again. Retreating and charging in again can work way much more better in a lot of situations where those knights will be better on the tier list. But now, as I mentioned, this is purely about attack move. So they start charging into each other and after that just fighting. So to understand these units a little bit more, we need to see where they've been made and how you can access to them. Like the French Knights that has 3+ melee damage for 5 seconds after charging, or the Kashik that has healing on attack, or the Sofa that has no charge attack but has extra damage against infantry. Well, we don't care about that because we are considering only knight versus knight. Or let's see, or just generic knight line available in the Feudal for the Rus. Or let's see, did the Chevalier Confer have anything important? Not really. Okay. So let's see why these units are really good with each other, against each other, and which unit will most likely lose or win. But first, I did some feudal fighting to understand the units. I put like a 5,000 resources next to them, the unit and the other unit, and let's see how they are fighting out. There's like a crazy amount of testing, but the best one I did was the 15 units versus 15 units. So let's see first Royal Knight. The baseline count was 50, and the baseline spend with the 50 was 3,600. So the most closest that I could done against Royal Knight was like the early knight, which was Rus. So 3060 was the opponent spend, 3060 was the spend equal, yes. The winner of early knight and Royal Knight was the Royal Knight. Royal Knight versus Kashik was the opponent spending the same amount of resources, 3,600, yes, and the Royal Knight won. Royal Knight versus Sofa Malian, 15 versus 20, was it spent equal? Yes, the resource was the same amount, and the Sofa Malians actually won. Royal Knight versus Chevalier Confer, which was 21. Was it spent equally? No, because if it was equal, the spending, then it was 22 Chevalier Confer. But even though it was one less than to being equal, Chevalier Confer still won. So as you can see, the opponent spend was 3,486, and the Chevalier Confer still won, even though the resources were not the same to the Royal Knight. Which means the Royal Knight won against only two civilizations, which was the Mongols and the Rus, which in this Knight versus Knight tier list, we will not put them very, very high because they just received two victories. So the French Knight goes into, let's say, I'm gonna put it into A tier for now because two victories. Let's see if other civilizations are gonna have more victory. So again, this tier list is only Knight versus Knight, and now just only for the Feudal Age. So early Knight Rus lost against the French, won against the Mongol, and lost against the Sophamalian and the Chevalier Confrere Templar, which means the Rus Knights receive only one victory. Let's put them here for now. So let's see next. Kashik fought against the Royal Knight, lost. Fought against the Early Knight, lost. Fought against the Sofa, lost. And fought against the Chevalier Confer and lost. So actually, the Mongols didn't win a single match. So the Mongols goes there. But if it's much more visible for you Twitch viewers or YouTube viewers, then I'm gonna put flags instead of the knights. So as you can see, the Mongol knight actually lost every single battle between the knights and equal. So as you can see, there was less Chevalier Confer. Oh, sorry. There was less Royal Knight, right? Because the resource amount is not the same, which means instead of 13, that was only 12 Royal Knight. And against the 12 Royal Knight, the Mongols still didn't won. That's crazy. So again, when these calculations or tests or everything happened, I used all the attack speed, the upgrades, everything that was possible to make sure the calculation will run correctly. At the same time, I'm in the game as well. Just let me show you for a second. So I was testing, I was looking for the units and doing the fight between each other to make sure it's not just like talking in the air. So the next one is gonna be the Sophamalian. 15 Sophamalian versus all the other units. The Sophamalian beat the Royal Knights. So 15 Sophamalian actually won against 11 French Knights. 15 Sophamalian won against early Knights, won against Kashyyyks, but lost against Chevalier Confer, which means I need to put this a little bit lower like that, and the sofa goes here. And yes, and the end, the Knights Templar Chevalier Confer was the best knight compared to all the knights together. Wow, that's insanely crazy to me to see. I mean, there is nothing like a surprise with the Rus knight because it's just a generic knight, but people not really playing so far in Feudal Age or Chevalier Confer in Feudal Age, while both civilization in economical wise, they can easily spend them because like Malian has like a crazy amount of gold per minute, right? With the pit mines, and those units are not even that expensive. You can go back to the resources. So you can see, let's see, where is the Malian so far here, 120 food and 60 gold, only 60 gold. And again, the fight was between 15 so far versus 11 knight. So it's very, very crazy to see that how they interact against each other in the feudal age. and how important it is to actually make them, and to see how bad is the Mongol Kashyyyks that they couldn't beat any any other civilization knight in equal resources, or even when the civilization had less units. It was a worse matchup because, let's say, only 11 or 12 knight versus 15 Keshik, and the 15 Keshik still couldn't win that fight. Now imagine that. Imagine how the Mongol Empire felt about after that. So it's really, really crazy to see, but this is a really accurate tier list between knight versus knight. And after this, I will make the castle age as well. Well, if you're a Knight Templar fan, just make those Chevalier Confere, or if you're a Malian fan, make those Malian sofas, because if there's a chance that these knight units will meet each other and do an attack move, they are fighting against each other, there's a high chance that your unit will win. I also have tried myself that if I little bit microed out the knights, like pull them back and pull into the fight, but the results were actually literally the same. So I'm testing this for like 3 hours now, only this 5 unit. Now I wonder how long will it take for me to do the 18th serialization and all the knights and the unique knights, upgrades and everything together. Well, if you like this little short video about the knight versus knight tier list, please let me know, because again, it's very interesting to see how these units are interacting within each other. Goodbye.